CPSA Practice Test 2026 Certified Pega System Architect Exam Questions and Test Prep. Question 1. Which tool is used to export strings for translation in Pega? Data Transform, Localization Wizard, Decision Table, Case Designer. The Localization Wizard exports rules like field values for translation. Question 2. In which scenario should a data transform be used? To set a default property value, to define a UI layout, to run a database query, to create a report. Data transforms are primarily for manipulating and initializing data. Question 3. How does Pega determine when to return a result from a decision table row? When any condition is true, when all conditions in the row are true, when the first column is true, when the user clicks a button. All conditions in a row must be met for the result to be returned. Question 4. How can you add a work volume by status widget to a user's view? Update the application theme, configure the dashboard, create a new case type, edit a Java step. Dashboards are configured to show various status and metric widgets. Question 5. What happens to a case when its status is set to resolve duplicate? It is merged automatically. Processing of the case terminates. It is sent to the manager. It is deleted. Resolution status cases end the case lifecycle processing. Question 6. What is a primary benefit of using insights in Pega? To write custom Java, to transform data queries into visualizations, to change the database schema, to bypass security. Insights allow users to easily visualize and analyze data queries. Question 7. Which principle does the Pega Constellation UI architecture follow? Monolithic design, separation of concerns, late binding, data redundancy. Constellation separates the presentation layer from business logic. Question 8. Where do you configure a view to collect data for a specific step? On the Data tab, on the Workflow tab, in the Portal rule, in the Skin rule. Views for steps are configured within the Workflow tab of the case type. Question 9. What is autocomplete an example of in Pega UI? A custom component, an out-of-the-box basic control, a background process, a data object. Autocomplete is a standard control provided by Pega. Question 10. Which two can be changed using the localization wizard? Skin and theme, locale and base currency, case status and stage, class and property. The wizard handles internationalization settings like locale. Question 11. A stage in the case lifecycle represents a single task, a major milestone or phase, a database table, a user role. Stages represent significant phases of the case process. Question 12. What is a step in the case lifecycle? A group of stages, a discrete action or task, the entire application, a server restart. Steps are the individual actions performed within a stage. Question 13. Which Pega feature allows for automatic routing to a specific team? Skin, assignment routing, data transform, decision tree. Routing determines who or what queue receives the work. Question 14. The primary path in a case lifecycle is also known as the happy path, the alternate path, the error path, the exception path. The primary path represents the ideal flow of a case. Question 15. What is the purpose of a validate rule? To design the UI, to check data entry against business logic, to save data to the DB, to send emails. Validate rules ensure that the data entered meets specific criteria. Question 16. Which Pega rule type is used to define the properties of a data object? Data page, data class, data transform, data view. The class defines the structure and properties of the data. Question 17. What is the case ID? A random password, a unique identifier for a case instance, the name of the developer, the version of Pega. Case IDs uniquely identify each specific transaction or case. Question 18. In Pega, App Studio is primarily for hardcore coding, business architects and low-code developers, database admins only, end users. App Studio is the low-code environment for faster application building. Question 19. What is Dev Studio used for? Advanced configuration and technical rules, checking email, simple UI changes, none of the above. Dev Studio provides deep technical access for system architects. Question 20. What is the skin rule used for? Defining data logic, defining the visual styling of the application, setting up users, routing work. The skin rule controls the look and feel, CSS, of the application.